I don't think the show's over. And I could be in denial, like half of the comments on TikTok are, but I don't know, I still want to believe. Hear me out. So at first I was like believing Mike's theory where Callie helped Elle escape. But then like online, some people were like, well, Callie would have been at the like literally the center of where the bomb went off. So it wouldn't have been able to hold, like she wouldn't have been able to hold the illusion. So then I was like, well, maybe she escaped with her. Like maybe she used her powers. Maybe she used her powers to make Hopper think she was shot or Elle think she was, I don't know. But I'm thinking she escaped with Elle perhaps. I know for sure. Well, I don't know for sure, but like I really don't think it was Elle that was at the gate. Here's where I like split into theories because I'm like, it could have been Kali, right? Or it could have been Vecna using Kali. Either way, first of all, Elle's nose wasn't bleeding. Second of all, I was talking to my friend and she was like, I don't think the wave machines, I don't think they were on, because how would she have been able to get into Mike's head and have that last moment with him if so? Which I was like, valid. Also, when they're on, usually she's literally curled up in a ball. So, however, falling further into the rabbit hole of TikTok, I think Vecna's in control now. People mentioned Will saying milkshakes at Melvald's and getting lost in the woods when that wasn't like a fun thing, which granted it could be like the woods one. I'm kind of like putting off to the side because I'm like, he did have like that fort in the woods and maybe like they did like getting lost. I don't know. But the milkshake at Melvald's, a lot of people were saying that like that timeline doesn't align with his like with what Melvald's does now. You know what I mean? And also him coming out confused me because I was like, I thought he was already out. Like, not like out, but the scene, I don't know, made me, I feel like the Duffer Brothers put in that scene to give us clues like the Melvald milkshake. I'm sure there has to be other clues in there. But I'm like, Mike literally, I don't know if it was season 1 or season 2, but I don't, like, if you guys remember, Mike literally had told Will, it's not my fault you don't like girls. Like, Mike kind of already knew, you know what I mean? It's like, they're all best friends. They kind of like, you know? So that whole scene was interesting, but someone did say their theory was that Vecna used that moment to, like, trance everyone else because, okay, so it's episode 7 when they're, like, making the plan and stuff, and also Will uses present tense when he says, hold on, I'm gonna go back. Okay.
He sees my thoughts.
He sees my thoughts, like currently.
He sees my memories.
He sees my memories.
And he sees my secrets.
Okay. And he's kind of like in distress, kind of, which reminds me of like in season 1 when he would get like taken over, kind of like possessed, you know what I mean? And Vecna would come forward versus like then Will would like regain consciousness. I feel like that's kind of a situation that's happening also right now. Yeah, because like the whole thing was like, why did we have this sit down? And like someone mentioned there were 12 people when he was like, oh, bring everyone back in. But earlier there were 16, right? So I'm like, okay, the fact that now there's 12 people and also around the table 12 kids, I'm like, I feel like that's very coincidental. And if we follow what I would say, Caleb, what Lucas said, I don't believe in coincidences. Like, I think this is, at least I'm hoping, like, I feel delusional. I'm hoping this is all like super elaborate. Also random, but like people started to point out that Will's clothes are more resembling Henry's colors, like browns and like earthy tones versus like blues. So yeah, the fact that I went from 16 people to 12, I'm like, I don't know. Also, I feel like in general, like I tend to guess, like, or I try to guess like what plots are, and sometimes I'll say oftentimes, like, I'm able to guess, like, where the plot is going. Because in movies and TV shows, they never show you something for no reason. Like, more so especially movies, it's like they have such a limited amount of time to, like, pull you into the story that anytime they focus on something, it's not pointless, you know? Or I'm hoping like that's the case with this. Okay, it's literally Will and 12 other people. Erica's not there, Callie's not there, Mr. Clark's not there, Hopper's not there, but everyone else is there. So I feel like if someone's theory was correct in that he used that moment to trance everyone else, oh my god, I'm gonna rewatch this and then figure out if those 4 are like elsewhere. Also hold on, because we don't see what happens to Erica and Mr. Clark, which was one of the things I was gonna mention. Like after they're shown on the tower, like, we don't hear about them, which would make sense if Vecna doesn't know, like, if they're not in Vecna's trance, they don't get like a continuation. Do you know what I mean? And then if Hopper's not in Vecna's trance, but right now, I don't know. The thing is, Hopper could be in the trance at the end, like, of episode 8. But I was gonna say, if not, since Joyce is in the trance, what if Vecna went through her thoughts and stuff and he knew that she would want Hopper to propose? I don't know, that's kind of like a random one, but that's just what I thought of. Okay. Also, because I think when Vecna said, you'll be a spy for me one last time, I don't think he just, like, I don't think he went in. I think he's still in there. Like I said, with, like, going in and out. So I think Vecna knows the plans, and I think this is why it's easy for him basically to fake his own death. Because it was, like, not super easy, but it was, like, very convenient that there were no demodogs, there were no, you know what I mean? Like, there weren't any of the other forces stopping them from reaching Vecna. So it was also like, almost like Vecna wanted to put up a fight, so they could, like, it wasn't obvious. I think Vecna knew they were coming, and that's why there were no other, like, forces working against them, but he still put up a fight, like, with the Mind Flayer and Vecna himself, like, in the trance, like, while he had them in the trance. Also, the part where, like, he gets ripped down by Elle, like, from then to when Joyce, like, chops off his head, it also felt like he didn't really fight back, you know? It felt a little too easy, but I don't know. I feel like also maybe, like, I'm missing things and, like, I don't know. Okay, here's another thought I had. Like, I guess in my theories, I was like, what if Max actually never made it out of Camazotz? I kind of just thought that mostly because of how the episode ends with, I think it was like Escape from Camazotz, where Max is running to the portal and then the screen just, like, cuts off. And I feel like maybe they did it intentionally. I know the scene where Steve is falling, that also cuts, but then you see him, like, getting lifted up, you know what I mean? So I don't know if these are all individual scenes that, like, this will make sense why the screen just, like, cut, if that's, like, part of it too. Like, have I don't know if, like, that could be the point where Vecna, like, got them in the trance, you know what I mean? I don't know, lots of theories, lots of things could have happened. Also, I thought maybe Max didn't make it out, or, like, I'm kind of thinking that she dies at some point, because Sadie was the only one wearing white at the Stranger Things premiere, and everyone else was wearing black for the most part. And then I was like, what are the chances about that, though? You know, what are the chances for that? For her to be the only one wearing white and everyone else was wearing black? Like, someone in the comments was like, well, maybe, like, there was just no communication, but I'm like, because then in the bigger picture of everyone, she is literally the only one wearing white. And I'm thinking, has she passed on? You know what I mean? And then Millie Bobby Brown mentioned something about, like, oh, like, she's wearing black because it's, like, the funeral of the show. But I'm like, is it? Or are you guys wearing black because it's, like alluding to a funeral. You know what I mean? The majority were wearing black. But again, it's, I don't know, it's like, again, are we on the same vibe that like there are no coincidences? Or does that only count for in the Stranger Things world and not the in real life world, you know? But that could be the case, to be fair, because Sadie has worn white to the other premieres. But yeah, I guess that was like just a thought process for me, because like Millie mentioning funeral and then Sadie standing out at the premiere. I literally feel like Joyce 2.0. Also, another thing that makes me think like Max could be possessed by Vecna or like in a trance is that when she saw Hopper, she didn't really respond, you know? Or I guess not even that Max is in a trance, but like that something weird is going on. Like people are in a trance, like the characters aren't acting, like I don't know. It could be like a hole in the writing, but someone, and that's like a smaller thing that someone did mention, like to Max, like Hopper's dead, you know what I mean? And Hopper was surprised when he saw Max, but Max wasn't surprised when she saw Hopper, which is interesting. But that's why I was like, maybe it was Vecna, I don't know. But also I've seen a theory that said Mike could be in a trance by Vecna. Okay, here's another thing. I don't think it was a coincidence, and I think this is literally all part of the plan, because why was the lover a different color? And that's not something that's like it's minor per se, but at the same time, like on a production level, you go out of your way to switch out the color of something, you know what I mean? And you know, they went through that thing where Holly was like, oh, this is supposed to be a different color, like pointing out that not all the colors match, and like, you know, like kind of hinting everything. I take it that basically everything is basically a hint for something in the future or something that is to happen. Another color thing, the caps and gowns are orange and not green. Also, speaking of the caps and gowns, like I cannot be the only one who was really like weirded out or uncomfortable during the graduation ceremony. Like everything, I feel like I would have been fine, but it was just like really weird. Like all the shots of the student bodies, like the student body, like, you know, it was very like, I don't know what about the framing just made me like, this is such a weird scene or weird angle, like why are they showing us this? Someone else pointed out, asking like, how did Max graduate if she missed school for like 2 years? Yeah, so Max was in a coma for 2 years, so they were like, how did Max graduate? Also, the year on the sign says class of 89, but like all the actors and Netflix, they all had class of 87, and I think it was elsewhere too, so it's 2 years off for that too. Another thing at the graduation that people pointed out was that behind each one of the main characters is someone with glasses, and that seems minor, but also at the same time, what are the chances, you know what I mean? And why was everyone sitting the exact same way? Maybe that's what actually like bothered me about that scene. So yeah, so I was thinking that maybe if Vecna got like a hold of Callie or something, he made an illusion maybe of Elle, but also I'm thinking like they're all in Vecna's like trance. I don't know. I do like the theory that like one by one Vecna's been like trancing them, and I think I already mentioned the thing about like me thinking that Will like Vecna's controlling Will, but also Will's able to regain consciousness at some points. But I don't know, like everything, they just kind of disappear up until, I think it's up until graduation. Sorry, I'm thinking about Mike like looking back down when his sister and her friends were at the table in the basement playing D&D, and I'm thinking that would be something for Mike to like, that would be a sentimental like scenario for Mike, because Vecna could like look back into his memories. That's so crazy. Also, I just don't like the fact that Kay gets to live. Like there was no update with her. Anyways, So I think my main thoughts are Max either died or dies. Vecna for sure faked his death and potentially has everyone, or at least several people, in a trance. I don't know, guys. Like, okay, so I binged all of Stranger Things in the last 2 weeks of December. And then January 2nd, I watched the finale. And like, which was like this past Friday. But like, I have literally been going down rabbit holes and just thinking about it this whole time because I feel like I'm missing something, but also, yeah, like I just feel like I'm missing something. I feel like this whole past week it's just been on my mind, and like I've been getting deeper into like theories. Also, like I feel like half of the Stranger Things fan base is like, no, there has to be more, and then like the other half is like, oh, you guys are delusional, like the Duffer Brothers just didn't write good enough, and like we're trying to make up for like the holes that are still in the script, you know. But yeah, like a week could pass and like there very well could be nothing that comes out, you know, nothing that's released. But wait, they did post something about like, oh, something about One Last Adventure January 12th, but a lot of people are saying it's coming out the 7th, which is tomorrow. So I don't know though, because like I have a really strong feeling like in my head this can't be it. What the hell? I feel like there's too many loose ends, too many like tiny errors, or like, and also like just too many different possibilities like for the outcome. Guys, there literally has to be more. I refuse to like, no. Also, I've been seeing like people in the comments being like, the Duffer Brothers realizing they have 2 days to film, edit, like get this last episode out. Oh, right, film, edit. But I feel like that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. But basically, like, I feel like this is like not really on the theory train anymore, but I guess just me admiring like the franchise as a whole, because I feel like I tend to not jump on things when they're like so hyped, but I do regret like not watching this sooner. Like, I don't know, I feel like because I sped through it, like I binged it, I literally watched them grow up so fast. And then knowing that like this happened over 9-10 years, like I don't know, I felt like I think it's so sweet that the cast basically grew up together. And not only did they grow up together, but the people watching this show grew up with them. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's so sweet. And I do regret like not watching it sooner, because I really like the show. Like, I think this is a show that I would go back to and rewatch, and like, I guess kind of like a comfort show. But I don't know, like I really like this show. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have though. I don't know, it makes me like sad, but also like it's heartwarming to think about them like growing up together and like experiencing this show, and then it also makes me sad that like this is a chapter of their life closing. I guess because also I'm thinking like I wish I was a part of it, you know, like I feel like a part of it now, but I feel like so late to everything. But yeah, all in all, like I love the show. I can't wait to see like what comes out of this, like the spin-offs and whatever else, pretty much. All right, bye guys. Okay, one last thing. I feel like I had also thought about the therapist that all the kids were going to, like thinking, what if she's behind it? Because we like were on her trail, and then we were like kind of distracted by everything that was happening. Yeah, she's still very suspicious to me. And then someone had mentioned like I think, I don't know when I saw the theory, but they were like, oh, like what if she was the one handing kids because she's the girl that Henry, I don't know, the girl that Henry liked in high school. We'll see. We'll see if like she even comes back in to like play with any of this. But yeah. Guys, more theories. So someone had pointed out that for Stranger Things, only episodes 1 through 4 have thumbnails. Hold on. Let's see. And then you just go up. And there's not there. Also, I think this is the moment when either Vecna got into Hopper's head, or I think maybe like he was pulled in with everyone else to the trance. Like he was seeing stuff, you know, that Vecna wanted him to see, basically.
I'm knocking on some wood here, but I think the Hawkins curse has finally lifted.
All right, Thomas, let's go. Thomas, here you go, man.
But at the same time,
Go!
this isn't even the Hawkins that I remember. It feels so different.
Scared the living shit out of him. Underneath all those scars, he's still human. A psychopath with a serious god complex, but human. I guess we're all scared of something.